Hi, and welcome to the West Point Lake Update. I'm your host, Steven Rector, Park Ranger with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We're coming to you today from Yellow Jacket Beach. It's a little overcast out here right now, but we think the sun is going to come out and this beach is really going to fill up. We've got a great show planned for you today, so stay tuned after this short break. Hi and welcome back. Joining me now is Joanne Chupp. Joanne and her husband Larry are park attendant contractors here at Yellow Jacket Beach. Joanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Joanne, you've been doing this here at Yellow Jacket all summer now, and we're kind of coming to the end of the season, and we just wanted to remind people that Yellow Jacket Beach is going to close here coming up soon. What is the actual closure date for this season?
September the 1st, which is Labor Day.
Yeah, that is Labor Day. So we've got just a little bit of time left here at Yellow Jacket Beach. Tell us about, for people who have not been here yet this summer, and you've had a lot of business, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of people out there who haven't been here, but tell us what different facilities that you have here at Yellow Jacket.
We have picnic tables, we got a playground, we got a grill, we have a shower to get the sand off of it. We do have a sandy beach. We have a restroom, and people can come here and fish, as well as the kids play in the water on the beach.
And we've got a great view behind us of a lot of those facilities where you can see the beach, you can see the playground, lots of picnic tables and grills.
It's a good place for a family to come and have fun.
And we always, sometimes, I shouldn't say always, we sometimes have some trouble with people and the picnic tables. Are you permitted to reserve a picnic table here at Yellow Jacket Beach?
No, you're not.
Okay, so if you come in here and you set your equipment up on one of these picnic tables, I'm guessing we need them to stick around that picnic table, right?
That's right.
Okay. There is also a visitor fee to come into the Yellow Jacket Beach. Can you tell us what that visitor fee is?
$4 per car.
Per car, and then you also have an annual pass program that and there's some ants out here too. You just got one off of you, so bring some bug spray if you come out here, right?
Right.
We also have an annual pass program, and you sell those annual passes here. Tell us a little bit about the annual pass program.
The annual passes are good anywhere in the United States. That gets you in the day use, it gets you at the boat ramp, and also it does not include campground.
That's right. That's right.
And it's $30. If you got the Golden Age card, it's $15.
So that's a good point. If you purchase that pass, it's not good for, let's say, just 2014, right? That's good for how long?
1 year.
It's good
to the 15th, 2015.
So if you were to buy it today, it would be good for one year from today.
August.
So it would be good for, really, if you buy it at the beginning of the month, you get 13 months out of that, right?
Right. So
valid through the end of the month, the following year, in the month that you purchase the pass.
That's right.
That's correct. Okay. And you can purchase those passes here. And what kind of forms of payment do you accept here at Yellow Jacket Beach?
Cash or check.
So you do not accept credit cards here at all?
We don't have the machine to do that.
Okay. So cash or check only on both the entrance fee and on the annual pass.
That's right.
We actually have a few kids playing on the beach today, and I noticed that they are wearing life jackets. Can you tell us a little bit about how those young folks got their life jackets this morning?
We have a lot of life jackets. They have to put their name on a piece of paper, a sheet of paper, and their phone number, and we put their tag number on it, and we are to give it to them, and the numbers of the life jacket goes on it. And when they bring it back, they turn it in when they start to leave, and then we take it and clean it and everything, get it ready for the next customer.
Is there a charge for the use of those life jackets?
No charge.
So it's just a free loaner program where if you show up without a life jacket, you can borrow one and use it during your stay.
That's right.
That's a great program. Do you have a lot of people using those life jackets?
Yes, we do. Sometimes it looks like they're all going to be gone.
On busy days, I'm sure
Right.
you're giving out a lot of those life jackets.
Yes, we have.
No, you've been around the parks quite a bit the last few years here, and people might recognize you from Schaefer Herd Campground, and then also here at Yellow Jacket Beach. No, I just want to personally thank you for all the work that you have done for us the last few years at Schaefer Herd Campground. You and your husband did a fantastic job, and I really appreciate you guys coming in. I know you initially hadn't intended to work here at Yellow Jacket this summer, but we really do appreciate you and Larry coming in and working here at Yellow Jacket this summer.
Thank you, and we really enjoyed it.
We think we have a great project here. I mean, you've been here several years and you've worked at other places. I mean, can you just tell folks?
This is the best.
When the park rangers say West Point Lake is a great place to be, I mean, that's one thing. But when we have park attendants who have worked at numerous places, tell us your honest feelings about West Point Lake. When it comes from a park attendant, I think it means something a little different.
West Point Lake is a very good lake. It's clean. It's very well kept up. I have worked in Tennessee, and I've worked at other parks too, here in Georgia, but I like this one best of all.
See, that's why we brought you on the show today, just so we could get that little plug in that says West Point Lake is great. Joanne, I really do appreciate you being on the show today, and we really do appreciate what you and Larry have done here for us the last few years.
We thank you for it. We enjoyed it.
We have more show yet to come, so stay tuned.
Welcome to West Point Lake. My name is Rebecca Fink, Park Ranger at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I love the wildlife here at West Point Lake as much as the next person does. And when you're out here at the parks or the beaches with your family and you've brought food with you, that food belongs to you. Please do not be tempted to feed the wildlife here. When you feed ducks and the Canadian geese that we have here, they can become very aggressive. They associate people with food, and they no longer become afraid of people. They will mob you, approach you in very large numbers, and sometimes be very aggressive towards adults and children. We also have a big problem with them pooping at our beaches and at our many parks, which can cause a lot of health hazards to the children, and if you step on it, you're also bringing those harmful bacteria into your home. So just a quick reminder, please avoid feeding the wildlife here at West Point Lake. Enjoy them from a distance and feel free to take pictures. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back. Joining me now is Kevin Parsons. Kevin is a park ranger here at West Point Lake. Kevin, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Kevin, I wanted to bring you on the show today because I know the hunting program is getting ready to ramp up, and I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk to you about the hunting program. So first off is, you have to purchase a permit from the West Point Project to hunt the public property on West Point Lake.
That's correct. People can go purchase their permit at our office, which is located at 500 Resource Management Drive. The cost of that permit is $20. You can go in, buy it in person with a major credit card or check. You can also buy it on by phone with a major credit card, or if you want to, which is kind of rare, people also mail in information and buy it that way. Like I said before, the cost of the permit is $20, and that gets you access to around 10,000 acres of hunting land. So
that's quite a bit of hunting land, and as I understand it, it's spread out quite a bit between both Alabama and Georgia.
It is. We have hunting property in Alabama and Georgia, so hunters need to make sure they have the appropriate state hunting license to go along with their hunting permit. They also need to make sure that they're aware of the weapons restrictions in the different hunting areas. We don't allow centerfire rifles on Corps of Engineer property. We do allow shotguns, muzzle loaders, and rimfire rifles and archery equipment in the appropriate areas. Hunters will also get a hunting map showing the different areas and weapons restrictions when they buy the permit, along with some general rules and regulations that we enforce around the lake. So
I know periodically you review that hunting map for which types of weapons can be used in which locations. Has that changed since last year at all?
The main thing that's changed this year, we haven't changed any of the areas. The one thing that has changed is we put on there that trapping on West Point Lake is prohibited. And that's for safety reasons. We don't want people going out there and getting hurt on different types of traps. So trapping is prohibited on West Point Lake.
Okay. And I know that the seasons vary quite a bit, but can you explain how our hunting seasons kind of mesh with the seasons of the states?
Right. Usually, for instance, like state of Georgia, they have a separate black powder season or muzzleloader season from their rifle season. It comes in a week beforehand. The Corps of Engineers, since we don't allow centerfire rifles, we let hunters use those muzzleloaders all through the regular rifle season, and the same thing with Alabama too. So the archery season, of course, runs all year as well, since we don't allow centerfire rifles. So, but like I said before, when hunters get their maps, they'll be able to see the weapons restrictions and things, and they just do need to be familiar with their state hunting regulations as well.
I know that you have done a lot of work in our hunting areas with food plots to try to attract different wildlife. Can you tell us about the food plots that you've been planting and what you're hoping to attract to certain areas this year?
Yeah, we plant around 85 acres of food plot every year. We usually do what they call a four-way mix. We're planting rye, oats, wheat, and clover. And that's to provide winter sustenance for wildlife. You know, there's not a whole lot for them to browse on, and we're doing mainly for the deer and the turkey. This year, or actually it started last year, but we did it again this year. We've planted dove fields in two of our biggest hunting areas. We planted a 7-acre dove field over in Oakland Road, which is in Alabama. And we planted an 8-acre dove field in Maple Creek, which is over in Georgia. And we planted both of those with brown top millet. And we'll actually open the gates to those two areas the opening weekends of both states' dove seasons, and they'll actually close after the opening weekend, just to, you know, provide something extra for the hunters out there. So
we do get a lot of questions about when those gates in certain areas will open and close. Can you take just a moment to kind of explain how you determine when you're going to open those gates and when you're going to close them?
Yeah, most of the hunting areas around here, the gates stay closed year round. Maple Creek and Oakland Road, since they are our two biggest ones, we open the gates for people just to make access a little bit easier. They'll stay closed. Oakland Road will stay closed up until rifle season, then we'll open it up for them.
Rifle season for the white-tailed deer.
For white-tailed deer, that's right. Maple Creek, in the past, we've kept the gates closed during archery season. This year we've actually put up gates inside the hunting area to restrict access a little bit more, but we'll be opening the main gates to that for archery season. We've had a lot of hunters inquire about that, so we're going to try that this year, see how it goes. If it doesn't go very well, we'll go back to the old way we used to do it. If we get a lot of positive feedback, then we'll continue to keep those main gates open for archery season. So. Okay.
And then we just have about a minute left here. Could you quickly tell us about? I know these hunting areas have sign-in sheets, hunter check-in areas. Can you tell us the importance of our hunters signing in properly in and out of these areas?
Right, yeah. Our 7 biggest hunting areas all have sign-in sheets. The main reason we do that is for safety reasons. We like folks to, you know, if you're not going to be hunting with a buddy, you need to let somebody know, you know, where you're going to be hunting. That way, if something happens to you and that loved one or that friend calls and says, hey, so-and-so didn't come back, they were hunting in Maple Creek, we can go in there, see where they signed in, see what actual area or hunting unit they signed in the area, and then we can start a search right there. It's also kind of a courtesy thing. You know, if another hunter comes in and he can see that there's somebody already in a certain hunting unit, maybe he can go somewhere else and not disturb that hunter where he's already set up.
All right. Well, that's great information, Kevin. I really appreciate you being on the show today. Just one last reminder. If you're going to hunt on the West Point property, make sure that you purchase your hunting permit for $20. 706-645-2937 is the number to our office if you need any additional information on the hunting permits. So they will direct you to Kevin Parsons if our attendant can't answer those questions. We do have a little bit more of the show yet to come, so stay tuned. Hi and welcome back. Joining me now is Steve Logan. Steve Logan is the project manager here at West Point Lake. Mr. Logan, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks, Steven. Glad to be here.
You were on the show not too long ago, and I do really appreciate you coming back and being on the show again. There's been a lot of discussion about what 2015 might hold for both West Point Lake and the Army Corps of Engineers. I wanted to invite you on today to sort of discuss kind of what we know and what we might expect to see here in the next few years at West Point Lake.
Well, that's a very good question, Stephen. One thing I'd like to say to preface all this is that we've been told by our headquarters in Washington that the recreation footprint, that is, the recreation services that the Corps offers nationwide, will be changing. It has been changing, but it will never go away. The Corps is always going to have a healthy recreational program out there. But due to what we are anticipating as far as funding, we're thinking that funding is going to be reduced in the outlying years, beginning in 2015, which of course is this fall. And as a result of that, we'll have to respond to it. And the only way we can respond to it, obviously, just like you would at your home, if you had a lower paycheck, you'd have to cut some things in order to make ends meet. Well, we're having to do the same thing. And we're trying to do that in such a way as to minimize the impact on the public. We want the public to continue to come out to safely enjoy the recreation facilities. Right. And so we have to examine our program and determine, where are the public's interests at? Where do they like to go to most? At the same time, not forget the little guy, because a lot of little small parks that are kind of out of the way that people really enjoy as well. So we look at all of our expenses, and we as a result, we have to cut expenses by usually reducing services. Now what that means is we might find we might not be able to pick up trash as often. We might not be able to cut the grass as often. And up to a certain point, the public will be okay with that. But we don't want to cut too deep as to really begin to impact their enjoyment, their safe enjoyment of the parks out here. So we're anticipating that beginning in 15 to some degree. And the same in 16 and maybe even outlying years. How will it get better? Well, I guess if the economy got better, then there'll be more money in the till to be able to pick the services back up again. But so that's what we're looking toward.
But this is not a unique issue with West Point Project. This is an issue with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and federal budgets, probably for a lot of different agencies. Is that correct? That's
correct. Yeah, it doesn't, the Corps is like other agencies like the Bureau of Land Management, the Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service. It offers recreational services, through parks and so forth. And it's hitting us all. It may not hit the Corps as hard because we're part of the Department of Defense. And just by that very nature, we may have more funding. Okay. But other services have been dealing with this for quite some time, and now we're having to deal with it.
I know there's been a lot of discussion, and you mentioned it earlier, trying to sort of watch where kind of people are going, places they're visiting, and trying to make sure that we're putting the money in the most effective locations. And there's been a lot of discussion on whether campgrounds will or will not be open this year, whether campgrounds will or will not be open next year. Could you just, I know we have an idea, but nothing's really set in stone right now. Could you just kind of give us a little heads up of where we're leaning with our campgrounds and our parks for 2015 and
sure
the winter of 2014 and summer of 2015?
Yeah, I sure can, Stephen. A couple of years ago, as you remember, we decided to close one of our campgrounds. We used to keep campgrounds open during the wintertime, and we decided to close one due to reduced funding. And if you look at it from a business standpoint, that was no question. We're spending this amount of money, we're only bringing this amount of money, and the occupancy, the use of the campground was low during the wintertime. But we always keep it open because we are a public service agency. We enjoy serving the public. And when people want to camp, we want to have those facilities available for them. Now they are available through, you know, the concessionaires, Southern Harbor, Highland Marina Resort, and private concessionaires around here as well. But we like to be able to keep one open here. We're facing that again, facing the decision of whether or not we should keep one open. Schaefer Hurd, we closed one year, we opened up Amity. The next year we closed them both. There was no core campgrounds available at West Point Lake for about 3 months, I believe. And it's low occupancy during that time, so it doesn't really make a big impact. But we still like, because of public service, we like to be able to have this campground open. So we haven't made a decision yet. We're looking at the numbers, we're coordinating with our senior leadership, trying to determine whether or not we should close Schaefer Hurd this year. Now we're leaning toward keeping it open, and I feel pretty good about that. But there's a remote chance that at the last minute we might decide to close it. I hope that doesn't happen,
Right.
because we heard from the public the last time it did happen, when we didn't close it, they came back and were very thankful that we had a campground open. So that's what it's looking like now. Now, we may do something differently. We may choose to, the campgrounds that are, say in the spring, that open up, we may only run them, some of them, one of them, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because by our records, the use of the campsites is very low sometimes, Monday through Wednesday. And if we could cut costs by not having to go in there and clean up and so forth during that time, we may be surprised how much money it saves us. And, you know, for those who would, I guess you'd say, complain about that, you know, we have to do those kinds of things because it's either do that or close the park. And we don't want to close the park.
I know these are extremely difficult decisions to make as to what gets funded and what we have to look at cutting. And I have been in a few of those meetings as well, and I know that no one in those meetings takes it lightly. And there's discussions back and forth, and it is extremely difficult to determine, you know, where we think our money is best spent. And so I just kind of want to let the visitors and our viewers know that these are not decisions that you or the senior leadership are making lightly.
That's right, we should know. It's very painful. You know, we hate to face this kind of situation, but it does make our program more efficient. And you know, we are tasked with being good stewards of the taxpayers' money. And so maybe there are things that surface because of this difficulty we're going through that can make the use of our limited resources much better. And so we become more efficient, you know, hopefully become more effective. And over in the long run, that's good for everybody, the agency and the public.
But there is a very good chance that the visitors will notice some changes, maybe as early as October 1st of this year, I'm assuming, with the start of the new fiscal year.
That's true. Yes, they will see changes because at that time, you know, we're going to have to make a decision and implement it at that time. And we sort of look at it like a glide path. You know, we're not just going to bam, make it happen. We're going to begin to gradually implement it so that the impact doesn't seem as bad. And we're trying to be very transparent about this. And we invite the public, you know, their comments and their input is very important. A lot of smart people out there. And we enjoyed hearing from them because as in the past and as we will be in the future, we strive to be very responsive to the public when they tell us because it's their property and their program, and we want to do a good job in managing it.
And I know that as these decisions are finalized and approved and go through all the processes, that there will be statements made available to the public and information released. But I just wanted to bring you on the show so that our visitors sort of have an idea that things are going to be coming and there'll be some announcements made. I know you talked about transparency, and we're definitely not trying to hide anything that we're doing.
No, no. As a matter of fact, you know, we one of our main stakeholders is the West Point Lake Coalition, and I spoke with the executive director, Dick Timmerberg, a few weeks ago, just to make sure that he knows what may be on the horizon, and he offered some good input, some advice, and you know, we are considering it. and it may make a change in terms of whether or not we keep a campground open this wintertime. So, you know, we try to put things out on Facebook. We directly call our stakeholders here around West Point Lake. The district helps us with public affairs office with getting the news out over on the newspaper line and so forth. And perhaps we can do other things similar to this, like get on radio programs and so forth, and let the people know.
How soon do you anticipate that we will be able to release to the public kind of hey, this is what we're going to be doing? Are we looking at kind of pretty close to October 1st, which would be the start of, for us, our new fiscal year? Is that kind of the time frame we're looking at of we think we'll know by then?
I think we'll know in a few weeks.
Okay.
And then we'll begin to kind of implement a communication plan to make sure everybody knows about it.
So with the possibility of a delay here or there, we could safely say that probably by Labor Day,
I agree.
we would be able to say, this is what we're looking at doing and this is what we have planned for the future.
Yes, because, you know, people trying to make reservations at campsites and so forth, you know, we want to make sure they have an opportunity to get out there and make those reservations or not, whatever it may.
And it makes a lot of the visitors nervous. I know that we allow reservations to be made 180 days in advance. So, you know, if you look at September 1st, I mean, that's you're getting into March of where people can start making reservations. That's right. And that's spring break time, and that's, you know, weather starts warming up and the fish start biting and people are itching to get out. So that's really kind of the time frame that we're looking at.
And we've been and we have urged our senior leadership to help us to come to a conclusion on this because of that, because we keep that in mind. And you know, we don't mind the public reminding us that, hey, we need you guys to make a decision so that we can make our plans, and that's very important to us.
Well, Mr. Logan, I really appreciate you being on the show today, and this is a difficult subject to talk about. I hope our visitors and our viewers understand how seriously that you're taking these decisions, and that we're working our very best in order to ensure that there's the least amount of impact possible.
Yeah, I agree, Susan. Stephen, thanks a lot.
Hey, I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you very much. We have more to come. Stay tuned right after this short break. Hi, I'm U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Park Ranger Steven Rector with an important summer safety tip. Lightning strikes kill an average of 80 to 100 people every year in the United States. Half the victims were fishing, camping, or boating. Lightning can strike from 10 miles away, so if you can hear thunder, you are in danger of being struck by lightning. The only safe places to be during a thunderstorm are in a building with 4 walls and a roof or in a car. Stay safe while visiting West Point Lake. When the thunder roars, go indoors. Welcome back. I want to thank all my guests for being on the show today. We had Joanne Chupp, park attendant here at Yellow Jacket Beach, Kevin Parsons, park ranger with the hunting program, and our project manager, Steve Logan. If you're looking for any more information on any of the topics we discussed today, check out our official Facebook page at facebook.com/westpointlake.usace.